actually Tuesday. It's well after 1. I think it's closer to 2 now in the morning. I feel really bad because after rehearsal, I hung out with one of the dudes from the show in the parking lot. And see, okay, I'm going to use this analogy even though it's not quite accurate. Have you guys watched Juno? If not, you should. It's really good. Where she doesn't think about the fact that when men are married, you're not supposed to really, like, be friends with them if you're a single girl. Okay, so this dude, I really like him. I think he's really awesome. We kind of hit it off right away, even right after rehearsal. And there's something about him that's very trustworthy feeling. I don't know. And I usually don't immediately take to straight guys because I'm always expecting something negative to come from them. And he's married with kids and he's older than me. And I just didn't think about it. We were outside talking for a very, very long time. And we kept going, oh no, we're gonna go. I gotta go. Let's go. And then we'd start talking about something and then we'd be stuck there again. And I don't know if his wife watches this. I know he does, but I don't know if his wife does. And if she does, I'm not sure I'll pronounce her name right, so I'm not even gonna put it in there. And plus, I don't know if it's appropriate for that either. But I'm really sorry. I should have thought at least to make sure he texted you, because it was really late. We were talking about a lot of things, like a lot of things. And I know at one point we got to serious stuff, like my health stuff, and I started crying, and it's really gross. I don't know. I just want you to know I'm really sorry. I don't think about, because I've never been married, and I've almost, like, I was never engaged, but I was talking about becoming engaged with a guy long ass time ago. And obviously, we broke up instead of going anywhere with the marriage stuff. But, sorry, my dog's, now she moved out of the way. She was starting to whine, and, oh, here she comes. You guys want to see her? See, I'm dirty. Aww. She's my little Ewok child. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this the whole time, but I want her to know I'm sorry, and I will not, hopefully, let that happen again. You have a nice husband. He's a good guy. In the play, he plays King John, and he tries to have my character killed. I mean, I kill myself on accident anyway, but, you know. Anyway, I want her to know I'm sorry. Because if I were her, I would fucking hate me. Because I'm crazy. Anyway, today has been like this sad fucking day. And I woke up this morning going, something didn't feel quite right. I kept waking up and I kept waking up, and finally my alarm went off at noon, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'm awake, let's do this. I could never figure out what it was, and I spent all day that I was awake and not at rehearsal reading, so I wasn't really prevalent on Facebook or any other part of the internet, so I didn't know until I got to rehearsal. And not to join the bandwagon of, oh, I always loved him, but I really, really loved Robin Williams. I know everyone's saying that now, and they always do. When somebody dies, we always feel like it's somebody that we know. And we were talking about it at rehearsal, and it's interesting, because apparently he committed suicide. And I find it interesting that somebody so universally loved could feel so alone and have the thought that life wasn't worth living. Because, I mean, I've been there, and a lot of people have been there. And life can be really lonely. And I imagine it's 1,000 times more lonely when you're a celebrity and everyone knows you and everyone loves you, but no one knows you. And no one loves you. And my heart is really broken. And, he made my childhood because of Aladdin. And that movie was one of my absolute favorites. And I used to be able to quote it. Like, I could go through the very beginning of it, Sorry. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And I even waited when I got home. I waited a little bit to make sure my emotions were normal. I guess not. Sorry. So yeah, this isn't gonna be like a fun episode. I mean, there might be some lulls. I don't know. But I want to do this anyway. Because it's an issue that touches me personally from having suffered from depression a lot of my life. He was such a funny fucker though, right? Like, man, one thing that strikes me is I remember the first time I saw a stand-up, because I didn't realize, you know, because he's the genie in Aladdin and he's in a couple of like Mrs. Doubtfire and all this stuff I saw as a kid, you know. Watched Patch Adams. I watched that one time. It was so good, but so painful I could not watch it again. So one time, but I remember it fairly well. God, he's a funny fucker. Anyway, I know a lot of people that have trouble with depression. And people always go, what do you have to be so upset about? You know, like, oh, everything, you've got a job, you've got a house. There are people that have it worse than you. And it's true. There's always somebody that has it worse. No matter what you're doing. And there's a lot of people that have it better. You know? But depression is a fucking bastard. Because you can wake up one day and just be like, wake up and the sun is shining and everything's wonderful and nothing's going on, and you still just want to lay under a rock. And people that have never had it don't understand. And people get super shitty about suicide, and they're like, oh, that's so selfish, and I would never be so selfish. My family, it would hurt them so bad, and all this stuff. And whether or not you think suicide is selfish or not, I feel like those are feelings that you should keep to your fucking self. Because selfish or not, you telling me I'm selfish about wishing I was dead wouldn't really change how I feel. It doesn't make me feel any happier, and it doesn't increase my will to live. Sometimes there doesn't have to be anything wrong to be depressed. It could be a chemical imbalance. It could be a lot of things. Not enough vitamin D, as some people say. Like, oh, you can take a supplement and everything will be fine. And you know, like, he suffered early in his career and through a good, decent part of it with drug and alcohol addiction, which, especially alcohol is a depressant. So if you're already sad and you drink, you get sadder usually. At least that's what they say, you know. This isn't always the case for me, but sometimes, like, I drink and I get even more sad than I was before I started drinking, and it's a mess. And it's hard for me to wrap my mind around him being so unhappy, because he seemed so happy. Which is another thing, that people that are depressed, a lot of us can fucking fake it. I have people all the time when I tell them, yeah, I'm really not happy. Oh, but you're smiling and you're laughing. And I'm like, yeah, it's a room full of people and I can feed off of your energy. If I weren't here, I'd probably be sitting in my apartment all by myself, thinking about how I don't have anybody and how my life doesn't feel worth it sometimes. And I can still put on a smile. And I learned that a long time ago. And he learned a long time ago that he is hilarious. And, or was hilarious. Anyway, I know I didn't know him, but I grew up watching him. And I wanted to do theater, and I wanted to act, and I wanted to someday meet him, and now I can't. And it's just another person in this world that you'll never be able to touch in any way, the way he touched so many people. So anyway, people say that stuff gets better out of high school, because there's a lot of kids committing suicide because they're bullied for being gay. And I cry all the time for them because I don't know if their life would have gotten better, and they'll never know either. And people can be so shitty. Myself included. 100% of people can be shitty 100% of the time. And I don't think, take depression seriously, or any mental illness in this country. We don't take it seriously. We don't take people's pain seriously. And a lot of people don't even take the time out of their day to understand that their actions can affect somebody adversely. Or they get so stuck up into their religion or their personal moral beliefs with the the gay suicides that we forget to treat people like human beings. And maybe you don't like a choice that somebody's making, because if you want to think it's a choice to be gay, then fine, it's a choice, whatever, good for you. But that's the choice they get to make, and it's none of your fucking business. And people make it their business. And I don't know if maybe Robin Williams was getting into drugs again, or alcohol again, or, I don't know anything about his personal life. I just know that he was magical and important to me. In nowhere, Kansas, he was important to the nobody that I am. And I thought about not doing the show because I was like, I might cry, and nobody wants to see me cry. I look fat when I cry. If you don't know, there's a stand-up comedian, a different guy, who made that joke once. And he's like, don't cry, you look fat when you cry. And I've stolen it, and I say it all the time. And so we'll say that about me now. I look fat when I cry, and it's supposed to be funny, but I didn't set it up very well. I'm sorry for making a video about and crying, and I'm going to put this on the YouTube so people can watch me be stupid and cry. But if nothing else about the show, I wanted to be a human being. I wanted to be real. And what's more real than my stupid ass getting home at 1:30 in the morning from play rehearsal and being no longer capable of not feeling so incredibly sad. And I don't think he was being selfish. I don't think that we should look at suicide like that. I don't. There are usually warning signs, but there isn't always. And if he had nobody, there might have been a nobody. And it makes me so sad that he gave so much to the, I don't know. I mean, there's probably people out there that didn't really care for him. So I guess it's kind of exaggerated. He gave so much to the world, but he gave so much to me that I wish, not that it would have made a difference, but I wish that he knew. And I wish that somebody could have stopped him. I wish somebody could have gave him a hug and told him he was important and gotten through to him anything. I don't know. Because I remember people have talked about, oh, he can't really act, he's just really funny. And Dead Poet Society, if you can watch that movie and still look at Robin Williams and go, he's no talent, I think you should stop breathing. So I guess I'm a mixture of emotions at the moment, but oh God, that movie is flawless. Dead Poet Society makes me a sobbing hot mess every time I see it. It touches me quite a bit. I mean, there's the Mrs. Doubtfires of the world, and there's the Aladdins of the world that children loved them and they were good. And his stand-up comedy, I started to talk about, he had this one thing where he was put on a beret of some kind, and he was wearing the rainbow suspenders. Oh, and Mork and Mindy, fabulous show, by the way, if you've not seen it. It's a little old, but I remember I saw it when I used to watch Nick at Night, and they played it a lot. But anyway, his stand-up comedy, and this one thing he was talking about doing Shakespeare, and he gets up there and he's like, the moon, like a testicle, hangs low in the sky. And I couldn't tell you a single word of what else he says. I'm going to reach in here and do a little. Crying gives me the nose dribbles. I don't know if that does that for everyone, but for me it's like nose dribbles. But anyway, I don't remember the rest of his stand-up in like verbatim or whatever, but I remember it was all really funny. But I remember that line and it caught me. The moon, like a testicle, hangs low in the sky. And I knew he was a genius. And I think the world lost, at least my world, lost a little bit of color today. And I don't understand why people would rather sit around and watch the Kardashian shit and all those stupid shows and not care about him. Because I care far more about Robin Williams than I ever will anybody in reality TV. I'm sorry for being a downer, but it's something I wanted to talk about. Suicide isn't a joke, and playing the blame game is shitty, and it doesn't help anyone. And putting on people that are depressed doesn't help anyone. So, I know a lot of what I saw today on Facebook was what I felt, which was sadness. But I'm sure there are people out there, and there are probably people I don't have anything to do with, that are like, fuck him, committed suicide, what an asshole. And I just want people to understand the kind of place you have to be in, the kind of ugly, cold, miserable, horrible place you have to be in to think that your only hope in this world is just to not. Because I've been there. And it's a horrible feeling. And I mean, I'm still here because I sucked at it. But I'm good at living and making it, and I'm just not so good at the dying thing. Never quite stuck. Anyway, I'm starting to do the ramble thing, and this is all I really wanted to talk about. I don't have anything else to say except for thank you guys. My last video actually had quite a few hits. And I don't anticipate that I'll ever repeat that. And there was stuff people wanted me to talk about, and I'll talk about it next week. But I thought Robin Williams deserved my public humiliation of crying and a little discussion about mental health. By the way, medicine doesn't always fix it. People think, oh, you're depressed, why don't you just take some drugs? I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't do anything. Like, I couldn't really function. I went to my doctor, she gave me antidepressants and an anti-anxiety medicine, and I could sleep. And that was all that changed. In fact, I slept like 18 hours a day. It was ridiculous. I'd wake up to eat and then go back to sleep. And I'm gonna not lie to you guys and say I feel super awesome every day. I'm in a lot of pain a lot of the time. I just keep trucking it, because like I said, I sucked at the suicide crap when I did think that was a good idea, and that hasn't happened for like 10 years. I've not tried to do it for a long time, but I thought about it, and I still sometimes think about it. And I guess that might be why this gets me as much as it does. Maybe isn't just so much the fact that it's an actor that I really respected and admired, but I think it's because I get it. And once you get it, Life doesn't always have rainbows and kittens for us. You know? Anyway, I love you guys. I'm going to give you my contact deets. Come back next week, and it'll be less me crying and more lulz, and I doubt I'll have... Briar, really? My cat is playing with a plastic bag. Cats are weird. Anyway, contact deets. Facebook, you can find me at GingerSnacks. Type in GingerSnacks, you'll find the group that you can click like on, and you totally should. Then if you type in GingerSnacks, you can also find the friend page. I will friend you until you piss me off, and then I'll delete and probably block you. Not to lie. I don't do a whole lot on either of those, but then I do share these videos, and you'll have access to it. And when I get a computer, I'll have more ability to really do more on the Facebook. It's such a pain in the ass on my phone to log out of one and log into the other. Forget about it. Alright, Twitter, at GingerSnacks69. Okay? And then there's Tumblr, which is my personal Tumblr, and it's joifirefaerie, joifirefaerie. Google Plus, Heather BoBeather. Look me up. I don't do a whole lot on that. Either of those, but do it anyway. You can hit subscribe, and you can like my videos all you want to. I would like it if you did. Share them with your friends. I get this one's probably going to be a little bit of a bummer for most people to watch, but you know what? Fuck it. Love you guys. I don't think there's anything else. But see, I got winning in the thing this time. I don't know how the fuck that happened, and it probably will never happen again. So anyway, be safe out there, guys. And if you think no one loves you, there's probably at least one person. It's probably not me, but you know.